Welcome to the Success Unleashed podcast, the podcast created to help you find success and achieve it beyond the job site. Today, I want to talk to you guys about a conversation I had the other day. The other day, I was over at the office, and there was a young man who came by. He was a contractor by trade, a remodeler, and he just started his business. I mean, young as in early 20s. He'd been in business a couple years, and he was hungry. And he comes in and he's quoting, David Goggins and Andy Frisella and Ed Milet, all these big dogs in the motivational, inspirational space. And he's talking about them. And he's talking about, man, I'm going to build a 9-figure empire. 9 figures. And I was like, okay. By the way, for those of you who can't count, 9 figures is like 100 million to 999 million, right? It's a legit amount of money. So he's like, I'm gonna build a 9-figure empire. I'm like, cool. That's awesome. And he's like, well, what about you? And I was like, I have no interest in building a 9-figure empire. He's like, well, why not? I was like, because that's not what I want. He's like, what do you mean? I said, your version of success and my version of success are different. It doesn't mean that one is right and one is wrong. They're just different. Where people get confused is they think that they have to have the same goals, the same targets. They have to be going down the same path as everybody else. And they couldn't be further from the truth. I can tell you that I've had more conversations with contractors who are content in what I call a lifestyle business. That means making enough money for them to have their house, pay their bills, put food on the table, and take a vacation a year. And they're content. And it's just them. And that's the big business that they've always wanted. They've achieved their version of success. And then I've come across some people like this young man whose focus is very singular, and that is 9 figures. Massive business, right? Again, it's not that one is right and one is wrong. It's that his is different. And he couldn't get past the fact that I didn't have the same vision as him. Now, don't get me wrong. I have a $50 million vision, but 9 figures, it's just not for me. And in fact, I want to work my ass off the next 5 years, and then I'm out. I'm out because I want to give back to the world. If you listen to the last podcast, you know my background. I was a police officer, and so I want to give back to the first responder world. I want to give back to the veteran community. I want to give back to those who are less fortunate. And so I have different purposes in life, and we're going to do that. But I want you to understand that success is different than for every person. And that's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just the reality of the situation. What really matters more than anything, though, is this. It's that failure is the same. Success is different, but failure is the same. See, failure is man's inability to achieve that which they set out to achieve, right? Man's inability to hit their goals in life, whatever that may be. So I want you to think about that for a minute. When we talk about success, we're talking about what you want out of life. When we're talking about failure, we're talking about what you didn't get or don't get out of life. So understand, when you're trying to achieve success, the first thing that you have to do is define what that success is for you. Because what it is for you is different than what it is for me. You may be happy in a lifestyle business, and that's okay. You may want a 9-figure empire, and that's okay. You may want, 7 or 8 figures, and that's okay. The point is, your business exists to support the lifestyle that you want. So what lifestyle do you want? See, you can't call yourself a failure if you don't achieve something that was never yours to begin with. We talk about all these billionaires that have been created, right? Sounds really cool, but most of us don't even want to be billionaires. We don't want billionaire problems. We don't want family addressing us with billionaire problems. But what is your target? What is your goal? What is the thing that you're after? How are you defining success? Because the only thing that matters is not your definition of success, but whether you achieve it or not. Because failure, remember, is your inability to hit that target, that goal, that thing that you wanted. Whether it's a target weight, i.e. you want to lose some weight, or it's a target to get a job done in a certain amount of time, or it's a target to finish reading the Bible, right? Whatever the thing is that you set out to do, not achieving it is failure, not what that original target was. So think about this for a minute. Inside of your business right now, what is the success that you are after? Have you ever asked yourself, are you just trying to, quote unquote, grow bigger, make more money? What is the thing that you're after? If you can't define the thing that you're after, I can guarantee one thing, and that is that you will fail. You will fail to hit your target. Why? Because of two reasons. Number one, it's not specific. You can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't feel it, and it's not measurable. You have no true way of achieving it. Let me give you a perfect example. If we were to talk about, I want to make more money to you is different than more money is to me, right? Well, what is more money? We don't know because it's not specific and it's not measurable. So let's redo this one. And let's say, okay, so if I want to make more money, how much is more money to me? I want to achieve $20 million a year in sales. Okay, now we're talking. Is $20 million specific? Yes. Is it measurable? Yes. So now we can build out a game plan to get there. Now we can put the plan in place to avoid failure and achieve success. Because without it, we won't. See, it's just like shooting a gun. If you haven't shot a gun before, God bless you. But most of you have. You're my audience. You're my people. When it comes to shooting a gun, there's two things that come into play, okay? The first is sight alignment, i.e., where am I aiming? The second is trigger control, i.e., what actions am I taking to make sure that I hit the target? If you don't have sight alignment and you don't have trigger control, what is the likelihood of you hitting your target? Going back to, revenue is the easiest one. That's why we keep using it. But going back to revenue, here we go. Number one, sight alignment, i.e., where am I going? I.e., what's that number? Right? You might have in this next year, you want to hit 7 figures. Cool. That's a very specific number, right? But what in 7 figures? Is it $1 million? Is it 2.5 million? Is it 3.2 million? What is it? Let's just say $1 million. Okay, cool. Now I can take that and break it down into a month. And I know that's $83,333 a month. Okay. Now the second part of this, the trigger control. What actions do I need to take to make sure that I hit that target? If your average job is $10,000, whether you're a landscaper, a plumber, an electrician, or whatever, your average job is $10,000. How many jobs do you need to do every month to hit that $1 million target? 8.3. So that's 83,333 divided by 10, right? 8.3. How many do you have to do a week? About 2 and a little more. Do you see what we just did? We just took this complicated thing of success, defined it, and then really broke things down into a more specific way of getting there. Now, why did I want to do that with you? I want to do that with you because I wanted to prove a point. Your desire for success, your obsession with success, has little to do with whether you succeed or not. The thing that matters more than anything is the clarity around where you're going and the clarity around what it's going to take to get there. You will fail if you don't have clarity. You will fail if you don't have a game plan. You will fail if you don't know where you're going. So that's my challenge to you today, is to get super clear on what success means to you. Not to your neighbor, not to your competitor, not to your friend, not to me, but ultimately to you. All right, you know what time it is. It's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go.